Hey, welcome back. So in this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play the song Freight Train by Elizabeth Cotten. Now this is a great one to learn for getting the technique for beginner boom chuck, which is a really fun style. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the parts of this song. Make sure that you understand the basics of the boom chuck technique, okay? And then at the end, we're going to do a slow playthrough with the metronome so you can play along. So here we go. So if this is your first boom chuck song, it's going to be quite challenging to learn to just move the thumb independently of the fingers like this, okay? So the thumb of my right hand is continuously doing the same pattern over and over again. Sometimes it changes through the chords like this, but mostly it's just kind of alternating between the 6th string, 4th string, 5th string, 4th string. Here's just a tip too, is also when you're getting set up with your right hand, keep this thumb pretty much parallel with the string. Sometimes I see people moving their thumb back here, and that's not good technique. We want to have a lot of space to keep the thumb moving so it doesn't get in the way of the fingers, but also this is going to help use the bigger muscles of your hand to get this thumb moving and quickly, okay? So let's start with this G chord, because that's going to be a little bit easier than the C chord coming up. So the G chord, what the thumb is doing on the right hand is we're playing this, holding the G chord up here, but the thumb is playing the 6th string, 4th string, 5th string, 4th string. Okay, slowly this is what the pattern is. So that's the basic pattern. Boom chuck. We're going boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck. 6 4 5 4 6 4 5 4. That's the basic pattern you're going to do throughout. Another thing I want to add about this boom chuck is sometimes when people are doing it, they'll do the chuck part on actually hit kind of a chord. So instead of just hitting the 4th string, they'll hit the 4th and 3rd string. Okay, let's talk about the different chords that you do and how you arrange that with the left hand. So for the basic boom chuck pattern, we saw that we did 6 4 5 4 6 4 5 4, but sometimes it starts on the 5th string. So like for example, a C chord has the root here on the 5th string. So there we just reverse the pattern. We go 5 4 6 4 5 4 6 4. Now one other thing that you have to know is on the C chord, notice my left hand here is going back and forth between this note and this note. Okay? So going back and forth between the 3rd fret of the 5th string and the 6th string. So it's just the reverse of the pattern we had before, 6 4 5 4 6 4 5. Now on the C we go the reverse. So it's 5 4 6 4 5 4 6 4. Yeah. Right? Okay, so that makes sense hopefully. So now let's go through the whole chord progression. So what you should do is when you're looking on the tabs up here, don't pay attention to anything except for the top chord. So I'm going to show you the tab on the screen here, but the top chord is all you should be looking at. Don't look at the tabs at all. Don't look at the melody. Don't look at anything else. Just keep your eye focused on how many bars are playing of each chord, and then what chord is being played. So I'm going to go through and just call it out as I'm playing it. I'm going to be looking at the tabs here as I go. First we start with the C chord. Remember to alternate that 3rd finger back and forth of that left hand, okay? So this is what it sounds like. So kind of a slow tempo. 1 2 3 4. C. Again on C. Okay, then G. Okay, again on G for 2 bars. Back to C. Okay, walk down to E. Okay, A minor, F, G, G7, C. That's the whole thing. Now, to speed that up a little bit, it might be helpful before you start adding the melody. So let's do that boom chuck through this a little bit faster now. Here we go. 1 2 3 4. C, C, G, 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 C, C, E, E, A minor, F, G, G7, C. That's the boom chuck part. So now, if that feels okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if it feels comfortable enough to where you're not really struggling and you think that you could kind of do that and add another part, it's time to add the melody. Let's go through the melody, adding that on top. So slowly I'll go through bar by bar. So here's how it starts. We're starting with the C, and the melody sounds like this. Okay, that's the melody over the first C. So it's so it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I recommend to actually play it like I'm playing it like that, just to see if you can loop it over and over again before you move on to the next measure. So let's move on to the next part. We have this. Start from the beginning. Okay, so the melody over the G chord, bar 3, is just going to be this. And in the fourth measure, you're just holding. You're just doing this boom chuck. Okay, the first 4 bars will sound like this. Okay, moving on. That's on the second line. We have this. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to play the first 8 bars very slowly. So just try to pay attention to the melody here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're walking down to E. Okay, we've talked about these walk downs before. It's just a way of connecting the bass notes into the next chord. So the next part is over this E chord. So we just did this, C, walk it down to E. Okay, so we're just going 3, 1, open, and then forming this E major chord. So here we go. So the E, it sounds like this. That's the next 4 bars. So over the E, a couple tips here that you want to do is make sure we're doing this boom chuck the same way, okay? But the melody, when we have this 1, so it goes, now we're just looking at the melody line, so O, 1, O, 3, okay? That's the top line only. So how do you catch that 1? The best way to do that is to roll this finger back like this as a bar or partial bar. Totally, if you were to play the whole chord, it sounds like this. A really nasty sounding chord, but it's really cool because it resolves nicely. This chord resolves nicely to that chord, which is the next chord coming up. I'm going to play bars 7 through 12 very slowly now. Walk it down to E. Okay, so there we have a lot of chord action going on. So after that E part we just talked about, it goes to an A minor chord, okay, and then this is technically an A minor 7 over G to an F. It's just a type of walk down that happens all the time. A minor, third finger over here, so A minor, third finger over here, boom chuck stays the same, then we're going to thumb over the neck F. Okay. Then slide that thumb up here to the 2nd fret to play this D6 over F sharp chord. It's kind of like a D over F sharp, but we have that 6th in the melody. And we're playing like that. So those 4 bars one more time, so bars 8 through 12. Okay, moving on, G7. Let's play those last 4 bars. So basically we have a G to a G7 to a C. Okay? The way that I recommend to do this is with the 3rd finger and the pinky to play this form of this G7. So it sounds like this. Okay, one more time. Piecing all these things together is easier said than done. It's really difficult to get this and adding in melodies if this part by itself isn't already feeling very comfortable. So the way that I really recommend to practice it is try as hard as you can to just focus on this much of it, okay? These parts first, okay? That's the most important part. once you can do that, it feels a lot easier to add the melody in. It's not super easy, but it'll be much easier. So now let's go through and we're going to do a slow playthrough with the metronome. And we're going to set that metronome up at a slow speed. So the original song that I was playing was probably around 160. So let's do this one at 100. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's that slow playthrough at 100. So there's a couple other things that I said that we could also add to this. You'll hear a lot of different arrangements of this. A lot of people play this different ways. So let's talk about some of those kind of variations that people do. So the first variation that I think happens a lot when people play it is people vary the rhythm of the melody. So instead of having everything on the downbeat, like, okay, people will vary that to sound something more like this. So see how I did that? So I just kind of displaced the melody note to be on the upbeats instead. So one more time, something like this. Okay, you get the idea. I'm just kind of pulling or pushing the melody notes forward and back in time. That is definitely a level up. Another thing that happens a lot is people will play this kind of pickup note. This is really common on that first G chord. So it sounds kind of something like this when we get to that G. Okay, so what I did there is I'm just kind of playing this third fret here on the G string and going bum, bum. Okay, so that's really, really common too. One last thing that happens a lot is on that E chord, going into the A minor in bar 9, it sounds kind of like this. They do a bend like that. So it sounds like this. Okay, so there's just a little tiny bend there. So those are some of the extra things that you can add. You can check out a lot of the other arrangements that people have online and try to play some of those, but this is a great beginner one for you to try. So that's it for this one. Have fun with it, and I'll see you on the next one.